Good morning, children. Now, today we are going to start a lesson from chemistry. This is for 8th standard. Matter around us. What is matter? Anything matter around us. You know what is, first we'll see what is matter. Matter is something, matter is a building block of atoms. It occupies space. Matter, it is the building blocks of atom. It has the mass and occupies the space. Mass, weight, and occupies the space. For example, the book what you have studied, the food what you have taken, everything, whatever it may be, whatever the things we see around us, that can be known as matter. Matter is building blocks of atom. It has mass and it occupies space. Okay, yeah. This matter we can feel by our sense organs. You can see or you can feel like that. Okay, matter is something that surrounds. Matter is it has mass and space. Mostly it occupies the space. Matter has a mass and occupies space. Mostly all the matters are made up of atoms. So matter is the building blocks of atom. Further, we can see that matter can be divided into element, compound, and first that is element. First, after that we will classify the element into compound and mixtures. So, what are the things? Element. This elements further divides into compound and mixtures. Okay, yeah. So, this can be divided element, further we can divide into compound and mixtures. Totally there are 100 elements so far we find. All the elements are arranged in Mendeleev periodic table according to their atomic numbers. That and all we will see in the higher classes. Okay. So, we have to say element. How we have possessed our name, the same like element also got the names. So, the naming of elements by the scientists in 4 ways. So, the scientists named in 4 ways. What are the ways it is? By represented by symbols. Symbol is the short form of the element. So, there are many methods. Greek symbol, alchemist symbol, Dalton symbol, and Berzelius symbol. Okay, yeah, there are 4 ways. Symbol is a short form of representing an element. Though there are 4 ways, at present we are following alchemist symbol only. So, for example, oxygen, the name of the elements may be either solid, liquid or gas. So, we can see, for example, oxygen. This is the element name. So, how can we write the symbol? Mostly, we are writing the first letter. We represent the first letter as the symbol, oxygen. So, what's the symbol for oxygen? O. Some other element, they got the same beginning letter. That is, for example, carbon as well as calcium. For example, you see carbon and calcium. So, as per the statement, we are starting the first letter as the symbol. Here we are writing C. So, both the carbon and calcium we are writing C means you will be getting in the confusion state. Suppose if it is given C without writing the element name, what you have to think over, we cannot sure of whether it is carbon or calcium. Just to avoid the confusion, they are taking the second letter of the element. Suppose the element have the same starting letter, they have taken the second letter of the element. For example, calcium, so we are writing CA. In that case, first letter should be in capital and second letter should be in the small letter. So, the first one what I said, start taking the first letter. If it is same, we have to go for the second letter. Okay, yeah, carbon and calcium both are same. So, we have taken C as a element for carbon and Ca for calcium. So other way, this is the first way, second way. Either we can take the first letter or else first letter and second letter. In some other cases, both the first letter and second letter are same. In that case, you have to go for third letter. For example, argon, arsenic, argon and arsenic. So, here see, A same, R. So, we are taking first letter and second letter, both are same only. So, you may be in the same confusion state. Just to avoid that, we are writing AR means that is argon. And this is the, what's the third letter here? S. So, we are writing arsenic, AS. Always the first letter should be in capital, second letter must be small. So, with this is both the letters, both the two letters are same, we are going for the third letter. Some other thing, we are writing the Latin names. For example, potassium. Potassium we can say this is calcium. Potassium, then phosphorus. Potassium and phosphorus both begin with P. Already any elements are there with this P only. So, phosphorus we are writing as the first letter symbol P. The potassium we are going for the Latin name. The Latin it is kalium. What's the name? Latin name for potassium? Kalium. So, we are taking K. So, we have seen what is matter. It has something, it's a building block of atoms. It has mass and occupies the space. Further, we can divide the element, compound and mixtures. Elements are arranged in the Mendelic periodic table, I say, modern periodic table. Then we are representing the elements by the symbols. There are 4 methods, but we are using alchemist symbol only. The first letter, how we have to name the elements? First letter we are saying oxygen. First letter you have to write in the capital. If the first letter is same, we have to go for the second letter. Some other elements, for example, I said carbon and calcium. Okay. Both the letters are same, we have to go for the third letter I said, carbon I said same, and calcium we are taking the second letter, and both the 2 letters are same, we are going for the third, for example argon and arsenic, and some other we are entirely taking the different name, that is Latin name. Potassium means what I said, kalium, the same like sodium, the Latin name is natrium, Natrium. So, we are writing Na. Clear? So, we have seen what is element, how to write the symbols for the elements. Till that it is clear. Now, we have to go for compound and mixture. What is compound, what is mixture? So, whatever it may be, either it is element or compound or mixture, both are from the element only. If 2 or more elements combine together in a fixed ratio in the chemical process, that is compound. In any ratio, mixture. What's the difference? Here, 2 or more elements combined in a fixed ratio. Here, mixtures, the same, 2 or more elements in any ratio. That is no fundamentality here, no confirmation. Clear? So, compound, 2 or more elements combined in a fixed ratio. Here 2 or more elements combined in any ratio. Then we have to see the differences between compound and mixture. So, after the reaction, they form a new compound, new element. So, the properties of the elements, for example, we can say compound, water. What's the formula for water? H2O. That means 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of oxygen combined together to make a compound. Wherever you see the water, either you are taking sea water, ocean water, river water, pond water, the ratio will be the same only. That's why we say 2 or more elements. Here how many elements are there? Hydrogen one element, oxygen one element. The 2 elements, they combine together in a fixed ratio. Wherever you take the water sample, you have to say 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen only. This is fixed ratio. Then compound has formed newly. So, the hydrogen atom and oxygen atom, they the special characteristics, no. After they are becoming a compound, their characters entirely last and they got a new characteristics. The physical character, for every element there is a physical character and physical properties and chemical properties. Both the properties are entirely changed for the compound. It's a new one. Though it is made up of hydrogen and oxygen, that hydrogen and oxygen properties you cannot see in the water. Okay, yeah. So they disappear and the new properties occurred there. This is two or more element. Main thing you have to say in fixed ratio, they cannot be separated by easily physical method and their properties will be entirely changed. Three differences we have to see. Whereas mixture in any ratio, for example air. Air, you know what is air is around us. So what are the things present in the air? Let me write there. What are the things present in the air? Oxygen, carbon dioxide, that is we can write CO2, let me write shortly, and nitrogen, inert gases. Inert gases mean the gases which are inactive. So what are the gases? Argon, neon, krypton. These are all like inert gases. Okay, yeah, that means they are inactive, they are very present in the low level in the air. So they are differ. We said they are fixed in any ratio. For example, if you take oxygen, if you are going near the what I said in the garden or else wherever the plants occur more, you can see the number of ratio of oxygen is more than other. This oxygen is not constant. The reverse side you are taking the field, that is grass, and wherever you got the plants, that side you are seeing means you can see oxygen and carbon dioxide more, nitrogen will be less. In some other field you can see means nitrogen component will be more, oxygen will be less. So there is no conformity that can be mixed in any ratio. So mixture, any two or more element they can combine in any ratio and they can be easily separated and they retain the properties. So it is a mixture of many gases, air. The oxygen it retains its property, carbon dioxide it retains its property, nitrogen it retains its property. Such a thing is known as what? Mixture. So what are the differences between compound and mixture? It is made up of more than two elements, more than one or two elements. It is made up of more than two elements. It is in a fixed ratio, it is in any ratio. The physical properties and chemical properties entirely changed. Here the properties are not changed, they retain the property. It cannot be separated by simple methods, it can be separated by simple method. These are the differences between compound and mixtures. Further we can go for, then we say no, element, compound, mixtures, we have to see metals and non-metals. So further this element we can divide them into compound and mixtures based on the combination. Further we can take them into what are the things I said? Is it clear so far? Then these elements, further we can divide them into, I said, compound, mixtures. We have seen what are the differences, what are the function of it. Then we can divide them into this compound. It can be further divided into compound mixtures, whatever it may be, it can be divided into metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Metals, non-metals and metalloids. So, as usual, metals, it got some special properties. Non-metals, it's whatever we say yes here, we have to say no. Metalloids, it has both the properties, it has metals as well as non-metal property. Suppose for example, three properties, they means one property maybe belongs to metal, other one non-metal, like that. First we will see metals. What are the properties of metals? Okay, yeah, metals, that is, it exists in solid, mostly it is exists in solid form only. Okay, yeah. Then it is sonorous. That means what? It has shining capacity. It is odd. Metals are hard in nature. And fourth point, they have high density and boiling point. Density, high density and boiling point. Then fifth one, they have high density and boiling point. High density, we will write the other point together. High boiling point and melting point. It has luster. So first we'll say it is solid, sonorous, that is easily, it cannot be shining it as. Luster also the same meaning only, it's very hard, it cannot be easily broken, it has high density, high boiling point and melting point. Boiling point at the time of boil, melting started to melt. So it has high melting point and boiling point. And it can be harmed easily, so it has malleability. Malleable, and it can ductile. Ductile means what? It can be easily break into any shapes we can make in this. And it's a good conductor of electricity. Good conductor of electricity and heat. Sonorous. The sonorous means that they can produce sound. Because of that capacity only we use these metals in the temple bells and all. So let me say again, metals, they are mostly in the solid form except mercury. Mercury is in liquid. Okay, yeah. It is sonorous, that they can produce sound when you are vibrating it. It can produce a sound. But because of the producing sound only, it is used in the temple's bell and church and all. We can see the bells, it's made up of metals only. It is very hard, that cannot be broken easily. It has high density, high boiling point and melting point. It lustrous. Lustrous means what? Shining. It is malleable and ductile. That is, easily we can make the shape of that. So we are making into wires and other thing. Copper wire, aluminium wire, this and all what? Metals. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. These are the properties of metals. Then what are the uses of metal? For example, iron. We are seeing the uses of metal. Some of the metals we'll see. Iron, what is iron? We are using in our houses. We can make many things from the iron cot, iron bench. Then we are making the bridges. Everything we can make by the iron only. Copper, we are using for iron. The symbol is what? Fe, ferrum. Copper, our puja vessels, cupri. Puja vessels and other things and all made up of copper. Even gold also, it is mixed in the little ratio to make it strong. And electrical wire. Silver and gold, we are making of ornaments and other purposes. Even in the dental, filling up the cavity, tooth cavity, silver thing is used, silver powder is used. And mercury, silver Ag, gold Au, and mercury, it's the only thing which present in, it's the only metal in liquid state. This makes it is used in the thermometers to find out the temperature, to raise the temperature. When it's kept in our body, thermometer is kept in our body, it raises the temperature. Even atmosphere also we can find out by using barometer. There also what is used? Mercury only, atmospheric pressure also. Aluminium, the formula is what? Aluminium is the cheapest metal. The poor man's gold it is. We can make all the vessels by the aluminium. Even the parts, some of the parts of the helicopter also made by the aluminium only. It is lightest element. Lead. That is we are saying as Pb. This is the point and the pencil point and other things and all we can use lead. So metals, they are very useful to us. Clear? We have seen the characteristics, elements. I said compound and mixtures, we have seen the differences. Further, the elements can be divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. Now we have seen the properties of metal. What are the things? Solid, sonorous, I said, that shining. Producing capacity, sound producing capacity, its hot, high density, malleability, ductility, good conductor, everything I said very clearly. And we have seen the uses of the metals also. So we have to go for non-metals now. Non-metals, the same like we said, no, non-metals are, they exist in all the three states, that is solid, liquid and gas. They are non-sonorous, that means they cannot produce the sound. They are very easy, not very hot, so easily it can be broken down. They have low density, low boiling point, low melting point. They are non-lustrous, no shining. So there is no malleability, non-malleable and non-ductile. They are poor conductor of heat and electricity. The properties of metals, first we have to write the properties of metal. What are, you say yes here, we have to say no. That is, they exist in solid, liquid and gas. They are sonorous metals, that is, they are non-sonorous. They don't have shining capacity and they cannot produce the sound. They are very soft. They have low density. They have low boiling point and melting point. They are non-lustrous. Non-lustrous means what? No shining. Luster means shining. They cannot be malleable. They are non-malleable and non-ductile. They are poor conductor of heat and electricity. These are the differences between metals and non-metals. Now we have to see what are the uses of non-metals. What are the uses of non-metals? Metals we have seen. What are the uses? Now we have to see what are the uses of non-metals.